Hello everyone, welcome. This is a typewriter HAL Model 3. It comes in its mahogany box with brass handle. Should be around 1890. It was the first index typewriter patented by Thomas Hall in 1881. It had a lot of success, and there are some reasons for this. It's very portable, only 3.7 kilograms, very easy and cheap to manufacture. It can be raised to the desired angle in 3 positions. It's a very interesting typewriter because it works with a different concept than what we are used to. It's called index typewriter because there isn't a real keyboard, but displayed with letters and symbols, and you use a pointer to select the letter you want to type. The keyboard is not the one we are used to, and it may seem strange, but at that time there was no standard that had imposed itself on others, and most of the users hadn't already learned how to use the standard keyboard. So this keyboard was not so strange in the eyes of the secretaries of that time. There isn't a shift button for upper cases and lower cases. They are both on the keyboard. There were also other index typewriters. The Mignon, the Ganka or Folio, the Merit and others. Till 1960s with the model Bambino, but in the end they fell into disuse as the secretaries began to master the standard keyboards. The logic behind the layout of these keyboards, it's always that the most used letters are in the center. It's not a bad idea. But it was a too slow system to use. It is very difficult to exceed 30 words per minute, while with a normal typewriter you can double that. Furthermore, unlike front-striking typewriters, you can't see what you are writing, and this is a big inconvenience. It was manufactured by National Typewriter Company in Boston, USA. The logo is a feather to symbolize its likeness. It costed $30 in 1890. The other typewriters at that time costed around $100. It works like this. With a pointer you point the letter you want to print. The plate with the typefaces is a single piece of elastic rubber located underneath the keyboard. So the position of the letter on the rubber panel is adjusted so that it is above this opening below. There is no ribbon. There is an inked panel on which the rubber characters slide on as they are used. Then you press the pointer on the letter and the character is printed. The carriage will move along one space to the right as you go for the next letter. It is also easy to change the layout of the keyboard. It's enough to change the rubber plate with the typing characters and the card with the symbols under the holes. The spacebar is this. If you want 2 spaces between words, turn the space adjuster button. Do you see? There are 2 spaces now. And here there is the mechanism for the advancing of the carriage. To insert the paper, lift the printing carriage. Place the paper in between the clip and the roller. Push the clip screw and it will return to its place, holding the paper against the roller. You can regulate how tighten is the paper turning the clip screw. You can regulate it narrower or wider. Maybe if you have more sheets of paper to type on. You can use also a roll of paper instead of single sheets. Do you see here? Then you can adjust the paper with this knob. This is the interline lever. Pressing this lever, you can place the carriage wherever you want. This screw is a touch regulator. And this is the little bell of the margin. This is the left margin. It indicates where to start a new line. The inventor Thomas Hall was enthusiast of his typewriter in the advertisements. Write all languages. A perfect typewriter. The best typewriter in the world. It says also that it can be used on a railroad train going at 50 miles an hour. That could have been a good speed at those times. As a curiosity, the manual states that it's also possible to make copies of what you write and mentions some technologies of the time. With a copying book, he means this press. It's a copying system used in the 1800s. In this case, a specific ink must be used. And with the ectograph, another old copying technology in use in the late 1800s. Photocopier were still to come. It's a very simple typewriter made of a few pieces. It was cheap and simple to use. But it could not resist in a world that requires always more speed. At that time, an inventor can have an idea and started producing some thousands of pieces. Now it's not possible to do this. You should produce in China tens of thousands of pieces at least. Then prepare tons of documents and certification to sell your product. Of course, today's devices are much more efficient, but there is a sense that something has been lost along the way. Have a nice day.